A warm welcome, students. Today we are going to discuss page number 14 and 15. The place I come from is famous for timber. Iswaran would begin. There is a richly wooded forest all around. The logs are hauled onto the lorries by elephants. They are huge, well fed beasts. When they turn wild, even the most experienced Mahavat is not able to control them. After this prologue, Iswaran would launch into an elaborate anecdote involving an elephant. Now, here are some word meaning like timber. Timber means wood. Experience means skilled. Control means to handle. Prologue means introduction. Elaborate means detailed. Anecdote means short, amusing stories. Now, explanation. Mahindra recollects another story told by Iswaran. Iswaran said that his native village was surrounded by a huge forest which was full of trees. The huge logs of timber were sold for commercial purposes. They were transported onto the vehicles by elephants. They were huge elephants, and if they became mad, they would get out of control and the Mahavat would not be able to tame them. This introductory session was followed by a detailed story involving an elephant. One day, a tusker escaped from the timber yard and began to roam about, stamping on bushes, tearing up wild creepers, and breaking branches at will. You know, sir, how an elephant behaves when it goes mad. Iswaran would get so caught up in the excitement of his own story that he would get up from the floor and jump about, stamping his feet in emulation of the mad elephant. Now, here are some words like timber yard means a yard where wood is stored. Creepers means a plant with long stem that grow along the ground. Excitement, a feeling of great enthusiasm. And after that, stamping means crushing. Emulation means copying something. Now here it is given that one day a tusker escaped from the timber yard and began to roam. I have told you. Now I have given you tusker means here an elephant. Now the story was narrated as follows. One day an elephant escaped from the timber yard and roamed around the forest. It stepped on the bushes and crushed them, tore the creeper plants and rock branches of trees which came in its way. Iswaran asked Mahendra whether he knew how a mad elephant behaved. In order to make his story more effective, Iswaran stood up and jumped around the place, hitting his foot on the ground in order to copy the actions of the mad elephant. The elephant reached the outskirts of our town. Breaking the fences down like matchsticks, he would continue. It came into the main road and smashed all the stalls selling fruits, mud pots, and cloths. People ran helter skelter in panic. The elephant now entered a school ground where children were playing, breaking through the brick wall. All the boys ran into the classrooms and shut the doors tight. The beast grunted and wandered about, pulling out the football goalpost, tearing down the volleyball net, kicking and flattering the drum capped for water and uprooting the shrubs. Meanwhile, all the teachers had climbed up to the terrace of the school building. From there, they helplessly watched the depredation of the elephant. There was not a soul below on the ground. The streets were empty, as if the inhabitants of the entire town had suddenly disappeared. Now, here are some hard words. Outskirts means outer area of a town or city. Smashed means broke something noisily. Beast means an animal. Flattening means leveling something. Shrub means a kind of farm. Okay, FERN for depredation means damage. Inhabited means people who live in a particular place. Disappeared means vanished. Entire means whole. Now, my dear students, I am giving explanation of this passage. As the elephant reached the outer boundary of their town, it broke the fences. The fences seemed as if they were like matchsticks for the huge elephant. The elephant reached the main road and broke all the stalls selling different things like fruits, mud, pots, and cloths. The people were taken unaware, and so they ran here and there. Then it broke the wall of a school and entered the ground where the students were playing. All the students ran back into their classrooms and closed the doors. The elephant made loud noises and roamed around in the school ground. It broke the goalpost in the football ground, tore the net that had been put up in the volleyball court, stepped on the water drum, and broke it and tore many plants as well. The teachers had climbed onto the roof of the school building and watched helplessly as the elephant destroyed the school property. There was not even a single person to be seen around. All the streets of the town were empty, as all the people were scared of the mad elephant. I was studying in the junior class at the time and was watching the whole drama from the rooftop. I don't know what came over me suddenly. I grabbed a cane from the hands of one of the teachers and ran down the stairs and into the open. The elephant grunted and menacingly swung a branch of a tree, which it held in its trunk. It stamped its feet, kicking up a lot of mud and dust. It looked frightening, but I moved slowly towards it, stick in hand. People were watching the scene, hypnotized from nearby housetops. The elephant looked at me red-eyed, ready to rush towards me. It lifted its trunk and trumpeted loudly. At that moment, I moved forward and, mustering all my force, whacked its third toenail on the quick. The beast looked stunned for a moment, then it shivered from head to the foot and collapsed. Now, here are some hard words like grabbed, held in hand, menacingly means in a harmful manner, hypnotized, put someone in a state of hypnosis. Trumpeted means to produce loud sound of animal. Severed means to tremble. Collapse means fell down. And now whacked means hit noisily. Mastering means putting together. Explanation of this passage. At the time of the incident, Iswaran was studying in one of the junior classes in the school. He was watching the elephant from the rooftop. Suddenly, he took the stick from one of the teachers and ran down stairs towards the school ground. The elephant made a loud noise when he saw a small boy approaching it. It lifted a branch of a tree in its trunk, hit its foot on the ground, which threw a lot of mud and dust in the air. The elephant was threatening Iswaran, but the boy was not afraid of it. With the stick in his hand, he moved towards the elephant slowly. Many people had climbed onto the rooftops of their houses and were watching the incident. They were standing still and were awestruck, waiting to see what happened next. Iswaran saw that the elephant had red colored eyes, which were full of anger. It again lifted its trunk and made a loud trumpet sound as it was about to attack Iswaran. Just then, Iswaran gathered all his force and hit the elephant's third toenail. Quickly, the elephant was stunned at what had happened. Then it reached by shivering all over, fainted, and fell on the ground unconscious. At this point, Iswaran would leave the story unfinished and get up mumbling, I will be back after lighting the gas and warming up the dinner. Mahendra, who had been listening with rapt attention, would be left hanging. When he returned, Iswaran would not pick up the thread of the story right away. Mahendra would have to remind him that the conclusion was pending. Well, a veterinary doctor was summoned to revive the animal. Iswaran would shrug casually. 2 days later, it was led away by its Mahavat to the jungle. There are some word meanings like rapt attention means completely fascinated or absorbed by what one is seeing or hearing. Pick up the thread of the story would not restart the story from where he left in order to arouse curiosity. Veterinary doctor or doctor who specializes in treating animals summoned called. Shrug means to raise one's shoulders slightly and momentarily to express doubt, ignorance, or indifference. After that explanation of this story, after this, Iswaran would leave the story incomplete. In a low voice, he would say that he would return after lighting the gas stove to warm the dinner. As they were getting late for the meal, Mahendra would be curious to know what happened next and would feel disappointed that Iswaran had left the story unfinished. On returning, he would not continue with the story as he wanted to arouse curiosity in Mahendra. Mahendra, who would be eager to know the ending, would ask Iswaran to conclude the story. Iswaran would just say casually that a veterinary doctor was called to bring the elephant back to consciousness after 2 days. The Mahavat would take the elephant back to the jungle. Well, how did you manage to do it? Iswaran, how did you bring down the beast? Here it is given that Mahendra was curious to know that how did the young Iswaran manage to overpower the huge elephant. It had something to do with a Japanese art, I think so, karate or jutsu. It is called. I had heard about it somewhere. It temporarily paralyzes the nervous system, you see. Here it is given that Iswaran said that he performed a Japanese martial art. He said it was either karate or jujitsu. He had read about it somewhere that the martial art rendered a person unconscious by disrupting the nervous system. Now, after that, here it is given Not a day passed without Iswaran recounting some story packed with adventure. Here it is given horror and suspense. Whether the story was credible or not, Mahendra enjoyed listening to it because of the inimitable way in which it was told. Iswaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV in Mahendra's living quarters. Here, credible is given. Credible means able to be believed. Unconvincing, here it is given that convincing. And inimitable means unique, something unique. Every day Iswaran would narrate one or the other story full of adventure, horror and thrill. Sometimes Mahendra felt that the story was a fiction, but still he enjoyed listening to it because of the unique way in which it was narrated by Iswaran. As there was no television set at the place where they lived, these stories were a source of entertainment for Mahendra. One morning, when Mahendra was having breakfast, Iswaran asked, "Can I make something special for dinner tonight, sir? After all, today is an auspicious day. According to tradition, we prepare various delicacies to feed the spirits of our ancestors today, sir." Now, here are some words like auspicious means good, delicacies means tasty food, spirits means soul of the dead, ancestors means elder of the family. Now, explanation of the lines. One morning, Mahendra was having his breakfast. Iswaran asked him if he could prepare a special meal for dinner as it was a good day. He added that on that day they prepared special food for the souls of the dead. Here it is given elders of the family. Now, after that, next passage. The night Mahendra enjoyed the most delicious dinner and complimented Iswaran on his culinary skills. He seemed very pleased but unexpectedly launched into a most garish account involving the supernatural. Here are some words like culinary skills means related to cooking. Who knows how to cook very well? We have to say like this type of words. Now, garish means something which is too colorful and fancy, that it is disliked. Supernatural related to ghosts and spirits. Now, explanation of this passage. Iswaran had preparing a delicious dinner and Mahendra praised his cooking skills. Iswaran was happy on being praised but all of a sudden started narrating a detailed story relating to ghost and supernatural powers which was disliked by Mahendra. You know, sir, this entire factory area we are occupying was once a burial ground. He started. Mahendra was jogged out of the pleasant reverie he had drifted into after the satisfying meal. I knew on the first day itself when I saw a human skull lying on the path. Even now I come across a number of skulls and bones. Iswaran continued. Here are some word meanings like reverie means a state of being pleasantly lost in one's thought, a daydream we may say. Iswaran said to Mahendra that the site of the factory was earlier a place where the dead were buried. Mahendra jogged out the pleasant thought after the tasty meal. Iswaran continued that on the first day itself he had seen a human skull lying on the ground when he was returning after buying vegetables. Even later, he had come across a number of skulls and bones lying around the place. Okay, students, I will give you page number 16 and 17 in the next video. I think it will be very beneficial whatever I have discussed in this video. Now, thank you.